Hello viewers, this is another episode of Football Unfiltered. We've entered the week 11 of the EPL games, and today we'll be looking at the preview of the EPL games. Here in the studio we have my wonderful analysts, Blaze and Emmanuel. You guys are welcome once again.
Thank you so much. I've always looked forward to be on this show. Last show I was not around to health and but I'm better now, so we're glad to be here once again.
You're welcome, Emmanuel. Please, you're welcome.
It's beautiful to be here again. It's beautiful to see a mass face again.
I'm glad we are both meeting this weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
From Sunday.
Okay, quickly, let's look at the first game played in the weekend, which is going to be between Brentford and Bournemouth. Emmanuel, what's your take on those games?
Yeah, well, quick one. Bournemouth is the only team that's actually giving the big teams a nightmare this season. They beat Man City. They beat Arsenal.
Stop struggling to remember Arsenal.
And their last game against Man City, nobody saw it coming. In fact, football pundits worldwide will never. In fact, if you had predicted that game that Bournemouth will win Man City, they would think you don't know what you're doing, you don't know your job anymore. But then the interesting thing about it is that it happened at the surprise of everybody. Then coming to look at a Brentford that could not even manage, that could not even hold the 1-0 win. They were the last team that played. The last match day they played, I think on Monday, and they were winning the game. I was watching the game. It is 84 minutes, almost to the end of the game. Instead of to just manage to get that 1-0, 3 points actually. They allowed the game to enter into in 90th minute 1-1, and even with the 1-1 they could not even still hold it. Fulham had to just get a late winner. So in this game I wouldn't want to dwell much on it because Bournemouth is 10th on the table and then Brentford is 12th on the table. So invariably you can see that Bournemouth is the better team here, and coupled with how they have been putting their team together, the way they play football on the ground. You need to watch the game between Bournemouth and Man City. They played the game as if they were playing their mates, kind of.
I think that game would have finished more than 2-1.
Yes, they didn't play the game like Blaze will always say. Bournemouth plays. They bring the ball to you. They don't play with you like, this is a big team. Let's be careful. So in this game, I'm going to give you the Bournemouth to win. Yes. 2-1 win or probably a 1-0 win against Brentford.
Alright, so quickly, let's look at the second game that will be played within the weekend, which is going to be between Crystal Palace and Fulham. Please, what's your take on those games?
At the moment, the bigger team here is Fulham because when you look at the league table, Fulham, they are 9th on the table. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, I think they are 14th or 15th or so. But when you look at the two teams and the way they play, Crystal Palace is a team that I thought that this season will perform well. Looking at the way they finished last season on a high, a very big high note, and they got a new manager and all that. Even though we saw players like Olise leaving the team, we also saw that they brought in a Sar to replace Olise, even though that he has not performed as good as we thought he would perform. But looking at the way Crystal Palace has started this season. They've not started the season well. They have struggled to win games, even though that in their last game against Wolves, they drew that game, and this is a Wolves that everybody is beating this season. Surprisingly, Crystal Palace drew that game. I think they've won just one game this season. The whole of this season, you have been able to win just one game. It's not the Crystal Palace we know. Crystal Palace is a team that they always compete in the Premier League. For this game against Fulham, I think it will be a draw game. Even though that I know that Fulham at the moment are doing far better than Crystal Palace, but I think that these are two mid-table clubs that are coming to meet each other, and I know that eventually the two clubs will want to show. When you meet your mates, you want to get a point. At least if you cannot get a point from Fulham, who then will you get a point from? So I will go with a draw game.
Okay, quickly, let's look at the next game that we played, which is going to be between West Ham and Everton. Emmanuel, your take.
Well, Everton have actually lost 3 of their last 5 matches between them and West Ham. And then looking at their current form now, Everton has actually not given giving us what we expected, considering the fact that last season, so many football lovers sympathized with Everton after they removed some points from them. And going into this season, we felt okay, fine. See what you went through last season. Let us see what you can be able to do. And surprisingly, it's Southampton that everybody, every team gets 3 points from, and you lost at home. They're looking at West Ham. West Ham is the worst. Well, let's say the weaker team here, because Nottingham Forest should not give you a 3-0 win at your home. The worst you should get from that game should be a 1-0 win. But then, will I say the two teams are at the bottom right now, because if you look at their position in the table, you see that Everton is, I think, around 18th or thereabout, and then West Ham is just almost at the
same corner.
The same corner. So I'll just say the both teams should just struggle their way out with a draw. For me, I don't see goals coming out of that game, even if there are goals, but the both teams should struggle with a draw.
Okay, so the next game that we played will be between Wolves and Southampton. So let's get your take on this.
Well, if you listen to what the man said, he was talking about how Southampton at the moment, the team that anybody wins, even though they won their last match. Wolves, on the other hand, I pointed it out that the team also that this season they've been getting so many losses. Starting from the time they lost to Chelsea in their first game, consistently they've been losing, even though that in their last game they drew. These two teams are going to meet each other. To me, they're the bottom of the table. They call it the bottom of the table clash. They are going to meet each other, and the two teams will be struggling. Let's see how we can get a point from this game. I will go with Wolves because I think Wolves is the more experienced side. When you talk about the EPL, the Premier League, they've been here for a while since they came from the Championship. They've not gone back. I think they've stayed here up to 3 or 4 years and they've not come back. But Southampton, they will come, they will go, they will come, they will go. So I think this is a kind of game that Wolves will want to use as a comeback kind of game, trying to find their form back. So I will go with the Wolves win.
Okay, so let's look at the next game that will be played in the weekend, which is going to be between Brighton, Man City. Emmanuel, seeing that Man City lost again last weekend, and they'll be meeting Brighton the next game. What do you think?
Honestly, I feel for Man City, and unfortunately here my colleague Bliss is wearing a Man City jersey. I wonder why he wore a Man City jersey. Are you trying to sympathize with Man City?
I think the last show I told you that Man City they are sick at the moment, and since I've been saying that Man City are sick now. It might not be today or tomorrow that they will eventually lose. And what happened in the last 3 games? They've been losing back to back. So I'm not just wearing a Man City jersey. I'm wearing a Man City jersey that is black. I'm trying to mourn their losses.
Anyway, this is actually an interesting game to watch because Man City has not actually gotten their footing. I expected Man City to say okay, since you've lost in the EFL, you lost in the Premier League. Look at the Champions League, something that you've always, had as your birthright. Them and the Real Madrid. Surprisingly, Sporting Lisbon. How did it happen? That's Champions League. Now let's come back to the EPL. The Bournemouth beating Man City.
No one saw
that coming. And then look at the Brighton that actually, people thought Brighton. Yes, they got good signings this season, but would they expect Brighton to come this far with the kind of struggles? See how teams have been trying to Arsenal, what's it called? Aston Villa, Chelsea, and you can see that Brighton is among the top. I think they're the first 10 currently.
Yes, they are.
So it shows that Brighton actually have a fight to play here. But fortunately for Man City, they've not lost any game against Brighton in their last 6 meetings. So invariably,
sorry for continuation. You know that it's the same thing when you're looking at Bournemouth, Man City. It's not just about in the last game. It's not just about 6 games now. They've never lost against Bournemouth before. But it happened in the last game.
But let me also remind you that Pep Guardiola has not lost 4 matches at a row
on the road before,
since his coaching career. So invariably, if he loses this match, then history will be made. But I think he actually is going to pull a comeback in this match. So I expect Man City to get at least a draw in that game, I wouldn't expect Man City to win that game because Brighton definitely want to say, okay, Bournemouth has defeated you.
Use the
Tottenham has
opportunity.
defeated
We are
you.
safe.
Yes.
Yes.
There's no Kevin De Bruyne there. There's no what's his name? Rodri there. You know, and Doku too. Even Foden. A lot of key players.
Foden is active, but he's not. He hasn't got that his Foden.
So I think it's an opportunity for Brighton to actually get a point.
Yeah.
Probably they might win the game, but going by Pep Guardiola's record, I have not lost 4 games at a row. Let's see. I'm going to give it a go match, a both team to score match with at least 3 goals in a match.
Okay. So viewers, please, if you're joining us for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel, Liverpool Aston Villa. We've seen how Aston Villa has been performing recently. They've been trying, they've been pulling weight recently in the EPL. And we've seen how fantastic Liverpool has been. So I would want to get what your take is about this.
First of all, Ancelotti has been doing so well in the league.
Yeah.
Personally, I expected him to do well, but I didn't expect him to do as well as he's doing. No, not just in the Premier League. If you look at the Champions League, he's also doing well. He has not lost yet. Their last game in the Champions League, 4-0.
Against Bayern Leverkusen.
You can imagine, the Bayern Leverkusen, this is the same Bayern Leverkusen last season that did not lose any league game.
Yeah.
So he's doing well as a coach, top of the Champions League table, top of the Premier League table. So it's going to be, to me, it's going to be one of the interesting match of the week. Look at the fact that Aston Villa lost their Champions League match. They also lost their last EPL match. Embarrassing lose.
Exactly.
Because it's one thing to lose, it's another thing to lose against Spurs. And it's another thing to lose.
And you could not even hold even with a draw.
It's another thing to lose embarrassingly. Do you know what it means that you're losing 4-1 to Spurs? It's Tottenham. No, but we know, all of us know Tottenham. They're a big side, but they're the most inconsistent side ever. So I think Aston Villa is going to go into that game against Liverpool with their morale down. And this is a Liverpool side that's going to go into the game with a full high morale. Even though I think it's going to be a very tough match, because for me, I've been saying it since we started this preview that I respect the Aston Villa coach, Unai Emery. He's a very fantastic coach. He approaches every game with the mindset that I want to win this game. Even though I think it's going to be a tough match, and I think the both teams will eventually score, I think with the pace Liverpool is going, they're looking at winning the league. Since at the moment, Man City, they are sick. They want to seize this opportunity to win the league, to top the table. So I think they'll be going into that game wanting to win, and I want to say that I think Liverpool will eventually win that game.
Let me quickly add to that. I don't think it should be a thoughtful game. Liverpool will win that game because a win will actually give Man City 6 points clear. Right now they are topping the league with 3 points, and if Man City should eventually get a lose or maybe a draw, it's a big advantage for them. Liverpool. Liverpool should use this opportunity to keep winning, because I know Man City. Once they come back by January,
it's over.
That's when De Bruyne is back and the rest of them, they are back in full force. That's how they'll
we know Pep now. Once it's January, even if De Bruyne is not back, we'll go and look for someone that will become something else.
Okay, so let's look at the next game that will be played during the weekend, which is going to be between Manchester United and Leicester.
Our best club.
It's unfortunate that I will not be making more of it, because I think the last 2 games they've been trying to perform
since the sack of Ten Hag.
They've not lost any game. So let's see what your take is on this game, Emmanuel.
Obviously, Man U will win Leicester City. Yes, because even though Van Nistelrooy is on an interim basis, he has actually shown that
he knows
what he's doing. You know, look at the game between Man U Chelsea last week. It was just that Man U lost a lot of chances, but if you look at that game very well, yes, I must be factual here. Chelsea actually came down to that match to play a draw. Actually, yes, they knew they could not win Man U, because the players were as if the players wanted Ten Hag to go. So when Ten Hag left, you saw the Man U, the Man U we all knew came to full force. And in this game now, I think this is the last game that Van Nistelrooy will be handling as an interim coach. So you want to live with his shoulders high And looking at a Leicester City that could not even beat an Ipswich Town that came back from relegation, and Ipswich Town is a team that is a team that everybody knows that okay, they don't have good key players at the moment. They are just trying to get their footings. Leicester City have good players, good signings, and top strikers than Ipswich, but you couldn't win an Ipswich Town. So summarily, Man U is going to win that game.
I just wanted to add that one of Manchester United's greatest problems are their players. Because I watched the game against Chelsea, and these guys, they're playing football.
Exactly.
But the major problem they have is that they don't take their chances. Because if you watch that game, the kind of chances that Garnacho missed, the kind of chances that Rashford missed. So if Manchester United will go into this game, because they're no longer playing the Leicester they played in the cup games. Because they played the Leicester that fielded their second 11. They're playing the Leicester that these guys they're playing their full 11. So you take your chances. Manchester United are one of the worst teams when it comes to taking their chances. Beyond Van Nistelrooy and beyond when Ten Hag was here, you have seen it play out with Van Nistelrooy again. So can you take your chances? If they can take their chances in this game, they will eventually win that game.
Okay, let's quickly look at the next game that we played in the weekend, which is going to be between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle. Seeing that Nottingham Forest won their last game, and also Newcastle is just actually a very strong side to play against. So I want to get your take on this game.
Yeah,
please.
Nuno has really done well this season. We saw what he did at Wolves. In fact, nearly he left Wolves. It looks as if that Wolves went back 3 years.
Yeah.
We also saw what he did at Spurs, that's Tottenham. Even though that he didn't stay there for long, I felt that he was building something before they eventually sacked him. And Tottenham is a team that they're looking for instant success because they've not been successful for a long time. So if they bring in the coach, they want profit. You're not giving them profit. They did the same thing to Jose Mourinho. Now he has come to Nottingham Forest, and these guys they trusted him. He did eventually start well. I think this is his third year in Nottingham Forest. The first 2 seasons he didn't start well, even though he was in the league. I think the 2 seasons he was struggling. You see them finish either they'll finish middle table or they'll finish maybe they will skip relegation. This season he became Nottingham Forest, and Spirit that Nuno became something else. They are third on the league table at the moment.
Yes, they are.
They've not just been winning games, they've been winning games convincingly. We saw them win 3-0 against West Ham in their last game. They're going to be playing a Newcastle side that, even though that Newcastle have not been very consistent this season, they are just coming from a game that
they defeated a big side
like Arsenal. It's not everything that goes to play Arsenal that comes out with that kind of win. So I think it's going to be a very tough match. Before this season is the kind of game you would have just said Newcastle will win, but with what is happening this season, I think it's going to be a tough match. Newcastle at the moment, they're back. Their striker is back. I'm talking about Isak. Isak is the kind of person that if you give him 5 chances, he will score 4.
And he was on that scored against Arsenal.
Just perfect scores. He slotted in that ball with that kind of nodding that I know not every striker will be able to score that kind of ball. He's back, and I think it's going to be a tough match. And for me, I'll be going with a draw because I don't think I know that Nottingham Forest is a strong side at the moment, but I don't think Newcastle is a team that will allow them to beat them.
Okay, so quickly, let's look at the next game that will be played within the weekend, which is going to be between Spurs and Ipswich Town. Emmanuel, what's your take on this game?
Well, it's going to be a festival day for Tottenham because Ipswich, unfortunately, they are at relegation zone. They're 18th on the table right now. While Tottenham on the other side is 7th on the table. And looking at Tottenham friends from now, they have actually shown that they can actually struggle and they can actually compete for the title. Beating Aston Villa,
a strong side as well.
Man City and EFL, and their key player, Heung-min Son, is also back. Coupled with some other development that
has come. Madison is speaking for
exactly
the last game.
So I think Tottenham will actually use this game to actually get
more points.
Yeah.
They want to,
Because they want to move
higher.
forward
Yes.
on the table.
So to me, it's going to be a Tottenham win and over 2 goals at least. Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to be adding to that. The thing is that for me, I think Spurs is the most inconsistent.
They are very
team. Very
inconsistent.
inconsistent.
This is
So
it.
I know Spurs.
11 goals.
They might
I
come to
know
this
Spurs.
game and
Spurs is a team
exactly
that
they're
they've won
not
Man City,
consistent.
they've won Aston Villa back to back.
All these strong
You'll
teams.
be surprised they will draw Ipswich Town. That is Spurs for you. They are just very inconsistent. They're a team that you cannot bank on.
Exactly.
Even though that I think this is the kind of game that they should
Comfortably
win. But I think that I've been saying it. Ipswich Town is a team that I felt that they will do well this season, even though they have not lived up to the expectation that I had for them.
Yeah.
But I think it will be a competitive game because the style that Spurs plays is the kind of style that Ipswich Town plays well. So the two teams will eventually play. And even though I think that at the end of the day, Spurs will win, but I think it's a game that Ipswich Town might get the point.
Okay, so quickly, let's look at the big game of the week, which is going to be between the two analysts. Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal. So I'll be hearing from both of you on this one. Starting from you, my Chelsea fan. What's your take on those games?
I know it's a big game of the weekend. In fact, the biggest game of the weekend, and it's the London derby. Am I smiling? But it's Arsenal. Arsenal at the moment, to me, they are also sick because this is a team that in their last 4 games they've not won. They drew to Liverpool. They lost to Bournemouth. They lost to Inter Milan in the Champions League, and they also lost to a Newcastle side that is not even very consistent this season.
Yeah.
And I think for this season, if you're being honest enough, the thing is that most people are not honest enough, and most people are still judging Chelsea with their performance of last season. But this season, this is the Chelsea that is fourth on the league table above
Arsenal.
Do you get that? They are above Arsenal at the moment. Do you get that? So if you look at the two sides, they said that Arsenal has the best defense in the league. I'm using this season to analyze what is going to happen. They say Arsenal have the best defense in the league, but Arsenal has considered the same number of goals that Chelsea has considered this season, 11-11. So what is making you think that it's going to be a game that Arsenal will eventually comfortably win? And I'm playing at home. My fans are going to be there, and they are going to be cheering me up. So for me, it's going to be a very, very, very tough match, and it's going to be a tough match because before they said camera rolling, Emma was posting that Odegaard is back, as if Odegaard is the kind of player that can give you 4 goals in a game.
Okay,
he's not that kind of player. So for me, I think it's going to be a very competitive match, and I think that I can eventually win that game.
Okay, Emmanuel, your take.
I'll start by asking you a simple question. When was the last time you beat Arsenal?
When was the last time I beat Arsenal?
Yes. You obviously cannot remember. Chelsea has not won Arsenal in their last 5 meetings.
Wow.
Not even I think just a draw. Arsenal has beaten Chelsea 4 times. Now he's talking about Arsenal not losing to. See, Arsenal know the team they can comfortably beat.
Okay.
Sometimes, yes, you can underrate a team and you say, okay, you lost.
Yeah.
For example, Bournemouth was underrated.
Yeah.
We felt Bournemouth is okay. Can easily win them. Against Aston Villa. Okay, sorry. Against Newcastle. We felt Newcastle, yes, they don't have much at stake, but somehow Isak helped them because that was the only goal that came into that game. Then looking at a Chelsea at the moment, see, we all know, he has said it several times, say that what's his name, Maresca, your coach, he's trying to build a team. Invariably, he does not have a team currently to play against Arsenal. That's the truth.
Okay.
Arsenal is a team that.
What team does Arsenal have that you're telling me that I don't have a team?
And like I said before this,
what team do you have that you said I don't have?
Odegaard is back. Saliba is back from his red card. Saka will always do the damage control there. And let me tell you something. See, Chelsea, the only player that I can actually say, let me get a little bit scared of is Kopama. That's the only player that can actually carry the team. But right now, everybody in Arsenal is actually on ground. We are fit because we know that this is a team that we can easily win, going by the records, both in the last 5 matches, last 10 matches, last 15 matches. Arsenal has always
beating Chelsea. Comfortably, not with one goal, not with two
Arsenal
goals.
beating Chelsea.
And then
It's just of a recent when we started having this coaches problem. You won't tell me that you will comfortably say Arsenal did not beat Chelsea when Tuchel was here. You were not beating Chelsea when Conte was the coach. You started dominating Chelsea when we started having these coaching issues that
we are talking about
we had with Pochettino and Potter and Lampard.
We're talking about
Is the Arsenal beating Chelsea?
recent matches.
You're talking about the recent
Yes.
matches. That's what you're talking about. And I'm giving you
because you analyze your own with recent form.
yes, with recent form.
Thank you. Why would I analyze my work with recent matches? What are you saying?
It's okay, guys.
See, I challenge you now on this.
Yes.
If Chelsea
Beats you.
Arsenal,
Yes.
fine. I'm going to wear a Chelsea jersey.
Exactly.
This is what
If Arsenal beats you,
I will wear the Chelsea jersey. I will wear that
I will
jersey.
wear Arsenal jersey on 2 of our shows.
No, if I will wear 2 times, you will wear 2 times.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
I
So what if it's a
It's
draw?
okay.
a draw? No,
You guys will swap
there is
jerseys.
no draw in that game.
You guys will swap jerseys.
Baba, Arsenal,
See, you're not getting what I'm saying. These
go
guys
collect.
are as worse at
you
Chelsea.
go collect.
I'm topping these guys
They
this
don't
season,
draw.
and
They
you're
don't
making
draw in that
noise.
game. They
The
don't draw in
Saliba
that
you're
game.
talking
It's
about
okay,
has
guys.
considered
It's
11
okay.
goals. You're making noise.
Draw
That's
for where?
Saliba, get ready, and you have considered 11 goals.
Guys.
Who wants to score for you? Is it Havertz?
Havertz.
That in his last game, he did not get 1 shot on target.
Saka.
How many goals does he have this season? How many goals does Jackson have this season?
Saka is there to give us his goal.
Which nonsense
Saka
Saka?
is dead.
How many goals has Saka scored this season? What nonsense Saka?
See.
What nonsense
I know
Saka?
this is going to. It's just.
Trossard. How many goals has Trossard scored this season?
Anyway,
It's
When
okay,
it comes
guys.
to goals, no.
Yes.
If a man wants to go
Yes,
statistics
Sunday.
this season,
We will see
a
how.
man, if you want to go with statistics this season, my players have been doing far better
Just-
individually.
just get ready
We will
to wear.
see how-
Get ready to wear Chelsea jersey.
We'll see how it will play out on Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday is not far from now, so we're going to see how it will play out. So quickly, just like we normally do, can we quickly predict the shock of the week game?
Of course, it's going to be Arsenal Chelsea.
Okay,
It's going to be a very big shock. Arsenal will beat Chelsea at home.
okay.
Yeah, I'm very sure of that one.
For me,
Alright.
the shock of the game is also an Arsenal Chelsea game because not just a man in the studio.
Okay.
Most people have written off Chelsea because
Yeah.
I feel people are underrating Chelsea and not. People have not respected the fact that this team is not the same team last season. There's quite a balance this season.
Yeah.
Number one, we do not have the kind of injuries that we had last season. Somebody like Reece James is back to the squad. You know,
Okay.
a lot of times people talk about Palmer, and to me, Chelsea's best player is not even Palmer. Chelsea's best player is Reece James. He's back to the squad. We have Fofana that was injured almost throughout last season, back to the squad. We have an Nkuku that we can bring into the match and he can change the match, back to the squad. So this is not a Chelsea of last season that we were playing with half squad. You played a Chelsea that even Cole Palmer did not play that game and you won that time. For me, the shock of the game, people will be shocked what will happen to Arsenal
It's fine. We'll look out.
this weekend.
We'll
We are going
look
to be
out
there.
for. We'll look out for the Chelsea Arsenal game on Sunday. So, guys, this is where we're coming to the end of the show. Don't forget to drop your thoughts on the comment section, and don't forget to click on the notification button and subscribe button if you're here to do so. Thank you guys for always being part of the show. Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, guys, see you in our next episode.
Is another edition of the EPL Predict and Win. Today we'll be picking 4 matches and you are allowed to predict out of the 4 matches, 3 matches. If you can get the correct scores of these matches, if you can get 3 out of the 4 correct scores, you'll be able to win 10,000 naira. These matches are Brighton versus Manchester City, Liverpool versus Aston Villa, Chelsea versus Arsenal, Wolves versus Southampton. I'll take it again. Brighton versus Manchester City, Liverpool versus Aston Villa, Chelsea versus Arsenal, Wolves versus Southampton. Start commenting now. Don't forget to subscribe. Those that subscribe are those that are qualified to win this prize. Start commenting now.